In day-to-day life, we are often not aware of what is driving us, why we act in certain ways, why we are happy or suffering. That's why it's important to sometimes take a moment to reflect and look behind the curtain of our psyche and see what is going on there. This helps us live with more awareness and intention. Hey everyone, welcome back to Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. I'm Maika, I'm a psychologist, and here are 10 questions that will take you into the depths of your inner world and help you understand and discover yourself. Number 1, how much influence do I have? This is one of those basic things we learn really early on in life. If I try and change something, how much effect does my attempt have? Does someone respond when I cry? I'm now speaking from the perspective of an infant. If I try to communicate with the outside world and other people, is there a change in the outside world? Or is it more that nothing really happens and I might as well give up trying to influence things? And as I get older and bring a suggestion into the family, is it considered, or is it more that my perspective doesn't count? And obviously there are shades of color between those two options. These early experiences that we make give us a first idea of how much sense it makes to try and influence things. And what a lot of people discover as adults is that they have a lot more influence than they think. More influence than what their gut feeling is telling them, which developed in those early years in the family that they grew up in. So this is something very worthwhile to reflect on. How much do I, deep down, have the impression that it makes sense to try and take charge, influence things, co-create and co-design relationships? Or how much do I think or feel, it's more feeling, that won't have any effect, and the only thing I can do is just go along with other people in life and see what happens. Number 2, how much can I change as an individual? The way we think about our own and other people's capacity to change is called our growth mindset. And what research shows is that most of us are a lot more capable of change and growth than we think. A lot of what we assume is a personality trait or a permanent flaw is actually an acquired pattern that can be changed step by step. Number 3, what can I expect of other people and relationships? Can you expect to find people that will love and accept you for you? Or do you have to wear a mask and play a role to belong? Can you expect to establish and maintain close bonds? Can you expect to be considered, respected, and made room for in relationships? Or do you have to do all the work? Can you address conflict and find ways to cooperate? Can you be vulnerable and share your honest thoughts and feelings? Number 4, what's my worth? Are you worthy as a human individual, or is your worth tied to things like achievements, possessions, or reputation? Are you enough fundamentally? Can you make life work? Are you welcome with other people? Number 5, what and how much am I in control of? How much do you feel you need to be in control, and of what? Can you allow the things that you're not in control of to run their course? Do you hold yourself accountable for the things that you can control? Do you take responsibility for your decisions? Number 6, what do I do in response to unpleasant feelings and discomfort? What is your attitude around discomfort? Can you allow difficult feelings to speak to you and run their course? Or do you block and suppress them? Can you open up to them and accept them, especially if they're connected to doing something that matters to you? Or do you have the motto, if there's something uncomfortable about this action, I have to avoid it at all cost? Do you maybe even wish you could get rid of your emotional side? Which experiences are you avoiding? And are you doing that at the cost of something that is actually way more important to you? Is your avoidance making your life smaller? Number 7, what emotional states is my mind drawn to? What's an emotional and mental state you often find yourself falling into, and why? Where does this come from? Is it helpful? What are you doing, perhaps unconsciously, to be in that state, and how can you change that? Number 8, what are my 3 most important values? Values are things that matter to us, but they're more abstract, and they're something that can't be achieved or ticked off. They are things we want to stand for, things we want to be active for and carried by. Values are what we can turn to when we need energy and motivation. Common values people feel drawn to are compassion, courage, connection, joy, playfulness, adventure, respect, self-care. What's the value you want to do things for and with that can energize and accompany you throughout all the little things you do every day? Number 9, what helps me stay in balance? So this is more than one activity. The question is, what helps you stay healthy, build resilience, and bounce back after an eventful day or week? And it also has to do with your mindset and how you go about being active. Do you use a lot of pushing and forcing? Are you glued to the windshield, or can you also sit back and relax into the driver's seat and allow yourself to be carried by the flow of life and inspiration? Are you always active on a very high level of energy and focus? Or can you also dial it back and be present with just the right amount of energy and focus to get the job done, so that your energy isn't used up in a couple of hours or in one heated debate in the morning? Number 10, is there something you're dreaming of doing but you're not working on it? If yes, why? What's holding you back? What would you do if you couldn't fail and no one would disapprove? What change are you hoping for your future? What would you like a regular Tuesday to look like in 3 or 5 years? What's your next step? What makes you resist it? Why do you want to take it, and what gives you the strength and courage? If there's anything you'd like to add to this list, if there's a learning you've had in connection to any of these questions that you'd like to share with the whole community, please do so in the comment section. I look forward to hearing from you. If you're new here, remember to subscribe. And if you're interested, also subscribe to my weekly self-leadership newsletter at the link in the description box. Till next time, take care. And remember, the more awareness you have of yourself, the more agency that gives you.